I want to tell you that it's a great privilege to get to do this, and I feel very honored tonight. And I'm just really very thankful that I did not make an appearance or an entrance like Chevy Chase. And that's the only thing I was trying to get accomplished by getting up here. So, good for Brett. Next, please welcome our chair, Ted Lizotte, to the stage to present the Chair's Award.
Yeah, you have to master that step a couple more times there, Brett. Okay, away you all go. The Chairman's Award was first presented in 1981. It was started by 50 convention attendee and past chairman, John Jones. I consider presenting this award a perk of the position, as it is one of the few decisions that I can make without trying to get a consensus of at least 3 to 5 people to come along for the ride. I'll admit it does inject me with a little feeling of power, but don't panic. Any delusions of grandeur that I might have been tempted to run amok with, are quickly put into check by 2 voices of reason in my life, Teresa at work and Shelley at home. And when you're on a Zoom call with both of them, anyways. Since I first realized that the 50th convention would happen under my watch, I have been reflecting heavily on our past and our future. To attain a 50th anniversary of anything, many things need to be overcome. It's easy to see why this milestone is celebrated as the golden anniversary, as we should take a few minutes to reflect on the hurdles we've overcome to be here. The pure fact that Colorlab even exists is a wondrous achievement. That our founding fathers pulled this idea out of the ether and coalesced it into something that causes us to sit here today is remarkable. They managed to overcome differences to put our first list together, and they worked together to continue to grow and expand. Our activity, like many social activities, has continued to overcome the hurdle of the modern era as well. Even with the decline of social clubs that has been occurring almost since Colorlab's inception, here we still are. We overcame a fracturing of our membership in the 90s when disagreements became too much. We've seen many of the legends of our activity reach the ends of their calling careers. Still, we move forward. But one of the biggest hurdles for this organization and the activity in recent memory is still one that we are recovering from today. COVID and its effects will not be forgotten anytime soon. We lost many dancers and callers from our activity due to our inability to gather together. Additionally, if not for the loss of our 2020 and 2021 conventions, I would not be standing here for the 50th. And before I continue, I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank Colorlab's chairman during that stretch for holding us together, Ken Ritucci. The year 2020 will be remembered for a lot of things. For me, I earned my caller coach accreditation almost 1 month to the day before I had to stop calling. Many of us felt confused and almost alone for the first time in a long time. But like many hardships that come along, there always seems to be those that find a way to adapt and overcome. I believe that tonight's recipient fits that bill. Within a few weeks of Within a few weeks of the COVID shutdown of our activity, this caller had an idea. What if we could use technology not normally thought of to be compatible with our activity as a way to stay connected through the siloed times? In late March of 2020, he tested his first Zoom dance with 2 couples, way up in the still cold northeastern US, Maine. Specifically, this little idea started to flourish. Once he knew it would work, he posted what he called a beta test out on Facebook. He began hosting these 2 couple dances, inviting anyone and everyone to attend, not for money, but to foster the feeling of togetherness. He was generous with his time and knowledge. I and many other callers were invited to call with him. A large number of callers reached out to me to get an understanding of how to get their equipment working with this newfangled tech. I sent almost all of them to this caller, because I'm not stupid. And he was happy to assist. This germ of an idea led to many callers and dancers connecting through Zoom during the COVID shutdown. It helped spawn the class series that I was involved in, as well as many other caller education seminars that existed. Callers are still taking advantage of the medium today for teaching, dancing, or just keeping in touch. And it also helped lead a virtual gathering of this body in 2021, which has led to our ability to continue to stream parts of this convention even today. Hi. One of my first trips overseas after COVID was in October of 2023. At the first after party, I was grilled on whether or not I knew this caller from Maine. This group had spent many hours online with him, wanted to make sure that I would thank him when I returned home. They had all hoped to meet him in person one day, and I'm sure they still feel the love and thankfulness for the time they got to spend together online. I understand that he probably wasn't the first person to try this. I and others had called using Skype and so forth. But in my mind, he was the first to bring it easily to everyone, using available tools that we could all understand. And his insight and generosity towards callers and dancers alike helped him spread the online dancing movement worldwide. We lost a lot of people from this activity due to COVID. The actions of this caller helped us keep many of them that might have strayed, and for that, we are in his debt. While not much, this is my way of making sure that he is recognized for his contributions. So please join me as we all bow to the count and present the 2025 Chairman's Award to first-time attendee, Michael Duseo.
Rectangles, then I'll see you guys better. So thank you very much for this. This is quite an honor. I couldn't have done it without all the callers and dancers that joined. We had over 2,500 people in the Facebook group. We had 100 callers that were doing it. At one point, you could pretty much dance 4 times a day if you wanted to. And some of the dancers did. It was kind of crazy. So, but yeah, thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, Ted, and congratulations, Mike. Let's have another hand for Mike. Tony Oxendine is from Charlotte, North Carolina. Tony started calling in 1974 and received his half-century award last year at the 2024 Caller Lab Convention. Tony is a member of the Board of Governors, serves on the Executive Committee, previously served as chair of the board, is an accredited caller coach, and received Caller Lab's highest honor, the Milestone, in 2000. Tony will be presenting certificates to the 50 years calling recipients. Please welcome Tony Oxendine.
You would have to be on the board of the EC to really fully appreciate the work that our executive director does. This whole thing is mapped out. I have a nice little thing that says, Half Century Awards tells me exactly what to say. Kudos to our executive director. Half Century certificates are awarded to Caller Lab members who have been calling for 50 or more years. The first awards were made in Baltimore in 1986 and have been awarded annually since then. A total of 312 Call Lab members have received the half-century certificate. Of the 129 Call Lab members who have previously received this award, 26 are attending this year. Would these callers and their partners please stand and remain standing so that we may recognize this achievement? All of the 50-year guys. And away. They are Dick Hampton, Tony Oxendine. Hard to believe I'm that old, isn't it? Obviously, you haven't seen that picture that's in the album. Tim Till, Toby Thomason, Bob Amsbury, Gary Felton, Tom Money, Mike Sikorsky, John Carlton, Bob Gaunt, Larry Marquise, Ralph Trout, John Marshall, Tom Crisp, Doran McBroom, Mike Prescott, Ray Brenzy, Ed Foote, Don Beck, Dave Harry, Mike Seastrom, Betsy Gata, Buzz Chapman, Roger Putzler, Dennis Farrer, and John Jones. Now give all of these guys a nice round of applause. These callers have almost 1,500 years of calling experience. You're old.
You started 3 months before.
When did you start? I started in January, but I'm younger than you. I was 12. 7 members attending this convention received their 50-year certificate by mail in the year they reached this milestone. This is the first convention we have the opportunity to honor them by name at a convention. Would these callers and their partners please stand as I read your name and remain standing so that we may recognize this achievement. So hold your award, hold your applause till the very end. 2019, Craig Abercrombie. 2021, Monk Moore. 2022, we went to caller school together in 1974. Nick Hartley. Bless you.
Thank you.
2022, Don Sprotzy. 2022, Doug Sprotzy. 2023, Doris Swain. And 2024, Matt Worley. Would you guys please stand and everybody can show their applause for you. Who would have thunk it? Tonight, I'm pleased to award 10 half-century certificates to callers who have reached this momentous milestone this year. I'm going to ask these members to join me on the stage. Bless you. Twice.
It's not going to get you on the stage.
No, it's not going to get you on the stage. Bill Chase, who joined Call Lab in 2003. You can come up here. Vic Carey, who joined Call Lab in 1979. Nelson Jarvis, who joined Call Lab in 1986. Casey Parker, who joined Call Lab in 1988. Scott Pierce, who joined Call Lab in 1978. Dan Preedy, who joined Call Lab in 2000. So you guys can get behind me, I trust you. Bob Riggs, who joined Call Lab in 1989. Ken Ritucci, who joined Call Lab in 1983. I didn't know I've been calling longer than you, Kenny. You're that much older than me. Mike Salerno, who joined Call Lab in 1991. And Ray Wiles, who joined Call Lab in 1990. I'm going to wait till all of these guys get on the stage. That's Ray we're worried about. Come on, Ray. You're holding up the applause. They're gonna clap for you, Ray. I promise. Now, would you please join me in recognizing these 10 half-centuries? Say something, please.
Okay, I will.
Congratulations, my friend.
Okay, I didn't know I was going to be up here. We need to get a little housekeeping chore out of the way. Have you folks ever met somebody, but you didn't take the time to talk to them? Have you ever done that? I had that happen to me yesterday. And I hope she's in here, because I'd like to have her come up to me afterwards and talk to me. I don't know her name, but she's from Kansas, and she knows Doug and Ann. So if you're here, I'm on table 15. Would you come up and see me? I can see how to be perceived a little bit differently. I looked through the program book, and I started in 1975, and I didn't understand at that time how special that was. Through the program book, Chad, I'm glad your name is in there, and I met John Jones at the dance last night, and got to hear him call. There is 26 past chairmans, and of those 26, I haven't talked to them all, but I know them, about 75% of them. And of those, I have met about 35% of them, and either danced to them, or at least had a conversation with them. So I've been around a little bit. So anyhow, those are my few comments. I did start at MSU, at Michigan State University. We had a demonstration group there, and I got started because of a shirt. A shirt. Back in the day, you couldn't get long sleeve shirts. I have a sleeve length of about 17 to 18 inches. So the only way I could get it was through our demonstration team. My sister was making shirts. She made one for me, and she made me make one promise. I had to come to one of the lessons for the square dance. This is where I am today.
Nelson, join us. All right, congratulations.
Nelson.
All right, I started calling before I was old enough to have my driver's license. So my parents had to drive me around to my gigs. And my parents, they bought me my first Newcomb. Y'all know what that is, some of you do. All right, bought me my first Hilton and my Supreme speaker. And then they paid for my Bill Peters Callers Clinic. And so I guess this goes out to all the parents in the world who supported their children learning how to call clinics.
Parents made me start square dancing too. My sister needed a partner. So because of that, because they fed me a steak dinner that night, that's what started me. Thank you.
Casey Parker.
Well, it's been a ride. I started dancing in '69, and my future wife, her dad, and I started in '75 calling. Somebody told her she needed to be a round dance instructor. So, but the people that we've met, especially the old ones, is just a ton of memories. I appreciate appreciate this. Thank you.
Scott Pierce. Congratulations. My friend. Officially in the old forest.
So many people to thank, my agent, my publisher, my manager. Wrong event. Actually, there are a ton of people to thank. First off is my wife, Katie, who supported me for 50 years. All of the wonderful callers that I have met through this organization who started out as mentors and turned into true friends. And all the dancers that have supported me during the 49 years it took me to learn this craft. I want to thank them all. I started dancing in 1972, and within about 2 weeks it became a passion, although my wife would call it an obsession. By the time I finished my first class, I was dancing 6 nights a week, and I decided I'd like what that guy up on the stage did, so I wanted to do that. I've been doing it for 50 years, and I still love it.
Dan Preedy. Congrats, my friend.
In a moment of, I don't know if it was passion or foolishness, my dad convinced my mom that they had to buy the square dance hall that they met at, and because it was slated to be sold and torn down. So they bought it, we moved there in 1966. Dad wasn't a caller, he self-taught himself, he taught me. I started dancing in 68, started calling in 75. I'd like to thank my late father, his oldest brother, my late Uncle Cloyce, my mom. This has been a really great ride, but we always have those that we rely on, that we can tell our joys and our sorrows to. So to the three Mikes, Sikorsky, Seastrom, and Bramlett, for your friendship and your love and always being in my corner. We've been through a lot together and I greatly appreciate it. Steve Nosek, who is not here. My club, the Star Shooters, who hired me 40 years ago this month. And my lovely wife Dora and our kids for tolerating me and putting up with this. Thank you so much.
Bob Riggs.
So, I started dancing because of a woman. I started calling because the people at Colorado State University, the students who were the callers, said you ought to be one. That was in 1975. I found this, I was looking for something besides the bar scene and the other social scenes. That's what I was looking for. And I found a family. And the very night I saw square dancing, it wasn't the same woman, it was another woman that I saw that night, and that is my wife, Atlin. And we are partners, very definitely. And I have to go back to some folks that are no longer with us, Frank Lane, Von Parrish, Earl Johnston, who were my initial school mentors. And I look back on them, plus a few others, or many others, and have to say thank you. And to that lady, Atlin, thanks for all the support.
The hardest working man in show business. You don't believe that? Look at the flyer and the flyer table. Ken Ritucci.
You know, there was a book written by a porn star with that name, you know. That was the name of the book.
It's been a pleasure. I'm very blessed to have a great career. And I knew you'd say something.
Porn star.
That was the name of a book he wrote. I don't know. No, I didn't read the book. I've been blessed to have a great calling career. More importantly, I've been blessed to, in any way I can, help lead this organization in any way I did. Thank you.
This thing is going downhill fast. Well, I don't know how many call labs I've been to, but it's the first time I've seen somebody try to pick up somebody. And the first time I've seen a speech reference a porn star.
Mike Salerno.
I started dancing in 1972 with two brothers, Tom and Phil Moran. They gave me such a foundation that I was able to make it for the last 50 years. My first tip was sharing a tip with Ken Ritucci. We're both from Waterbury, Connecticut. I live in Kansas. He lives in Massachusetts now. But it's been a wild ride. I never thought that I would still be here after 50 years of calling. Thank you very much.
And last but certainly not least, good friend of mine, Ray Wiles.
Well, as they say, everything started from the beginning, and my beginning was in 1972 when my younger sister was tired of staying home with a babysitter, and she was going to turn 13 in September. So she told my mom that she wanted to go learn, and I was 15 and I didn't want nothing to do with this activity. 75, I started calling. 74 was the very first time I met this gentleman right here. And tell you the truth, I never expected myself to be calling for this long. And I really appreciate all the friendships that I have through square dancing and through Caller Lab. And I'd like to thank everybody for all of your support.
The class of 2025, ladies and gentlemen. So for all of you 50 years, after the banquet, they want you to meet, Teresa would like you to meet at the where that little call lab thing is on the outside for a photo opportunity.
Brad?
Oh, excuse me. There are 13 additional active Call Lab members who have earned their half-century award this year. Although they're unable to attend this convention, we'd like to honor them by announcing their names. Certificates will be mailed to them immediately following this convention. They are Gary Carpenter, Tom Clymer, Larry Cole, Dee Dee Doherty Lottie, I can't believe she's been gone 50 years, Mike Liston, Andreas Mackey, Abe Meyer, Tom Manning, Don Mosher, Timothy Plow, Angus Rocket, Dave Schultz, and Gary Smith. If any of you guys who know these callers, please congratulate them the next time you see them. Now, thank you very much.
And congratulations to those of you who have survived long enough to manage 50 years of this. That's wonderful. Next, I'd like to introduce Ed Foote. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ed is the current choreographic review coordinator for Color Lab. He previously served on the Board of Governors. He received Color Lab's highest honor, the Milestone, in 2008, and the Color Lab Gold Card in 2022. Tonight, Ed will be presenting a special Color Lab award. Please welcome Ed Foote.
Tonight is my privilege to present another Milestone Award. Over the years at these Milestone presentations, a lot of the time, the presenter, me, gives information about the recipient without giving the name and letting everyone try to guess who the recipient is. But this is difficult to do tonight because if I say anything about this person, you're going to know right away who it is. So I'm going to give you a one-sentence statement about this person. And then you will know who it is, we'll all know who it is, and we can proceed from there. Tonight's recipient has organized and run more color schools throughout the United States and the world than any other person in the history of square dancing. That's right, Ken Ritucci. Ken and his partner Sue live in Massachusetts. Ken has been an accredited Color Lab color coach for 33 years and has been training colors for over 40 years. He runs his Northeast Color School every fall in New England, and this year will be the 21st consecutive year for this school, and he averages 25 to 30 students every year. He's also run schools around the country. California, he ran schools there for 7 years. Alabama, 4 years. Minnesota, 3 years. He ran an Institute for Leadership in Massachusetts for 6 years, as well as running schools in Georgia, Florida, and there's a flyer out front for his school this fall in Arizona. But that's only the United States. He has also run 15 schools in Europe, including Germany 7 times and Russia 5 times. Russia is significant because this is the first time that any caller has run a school there, thus helping open this country to square dancing. And he did it for 5 years. In addition, he's run schools in Denmark, the Czech Republic, Austria, and Australia. He's also been on the staff of 16 other color schools in the United States and Europe, where he was asked to be on the staff of the school. He has also conducted numerous one-day color clinics in a variety of states, as well as in Canada and in Europe. He's even run 2 specialty color schools, one geared only to teaching, and another geared strictly to advance and challenge. At all of his schools, Ken follows the Color Lab curriculum, and he gives special emphasis to encouraging everyone to be a member of Color Lab. He has also conducted countless seminars at our Color Lab convention every year, as well as at the national convention, and he goes there most years. By doing all of these schools, Ken has made a major impact on square dancing around the world. Think of the number of callers he has trained. Over 1,000 callers. It is safe to say that every week in all parts of the world, dancers are being affected by callers that Ken has trained. But it doesn't stop here. Ken is also an established traveling caller. He calls mainstream through C3B, travels throughout the United States and Europe, calling over 200 dances a year. He also calls at a number of festivals and conventions. Since he is constantly invited back everywhere he goes, it is clear that he is providing enjoyment for thousands of dancers. Ken is literally a true ambassador for square dancing. Okay, we've been talking about Ken's accomplishments, but what about Ken as a person? There are a number of reasons why all of us are here in Earth School, and one of those reasons is to be of service. We are all to be of service to others. Ken can be considered a case study in how to be of service in life. Give a few examples. He served 18 years on the Colorado Board of Governors, 9 of those on the executive committee, and he was vice chairman for 2 years, and as we heard, chairman for 2 years. He's also currently the chairman of the Colorado Accredited Caller Coach Committee. And in the past 3 and 4 years, there's been a tremendous amount of work on this committee, and he's overseen projects and gotten a lot of projects completed. In other words, Ken gets things done. There are 3 callers organizations in Ken's area in New England. The New England Council of Callers, the Springfield Area Callers Association, and the Connecticut Callers Association. Ken has been president of each one. Not just once. 3 and 4 times for each organization. And he's also been vice chairman for each of those organizations. Also, Ken has programmed the New England Square Dance Convention many times. The New England Convention is one of the larger conventions in the country. That's a real job, and he has done this many times. He also programmed the 2015 National Convention in Springfield, Massachusetts, and he was the keynote speaker at the National Convention in Detroit. Obviously, Ken is a living example of what it means to be of service in life. One of the requirements for the Milestone Award is unselfish contribution. Not thinking of personal gain or monetary reward, but having an attitude that thinks of others first. Ken Ritucci is one of the most unselfish callers I have ever met in my life. Here are a few examples. At every caller school he runs, he gives out a syllabus. Now, nothing new there. All caller schools give out a syllabus, and these syllabus run maybe 10 pages, 25 pages. A few schools will run 50 pages. In my career, I've seen a couple schools that have a 100-page syllabus for the caller school. Ken's syllabus is 360 pages, spiral bound. He gives one of these to every one of his students, not just at the Northeast School, but at all the other schools that he runs, and he also gives one of these books to every staff member on his school. Do you realize the cost to print a 360-page book? And he prints tons of these every year for all his schools. In addition, if he's hired to be on the staff of a school, he will give one of these syllabuses to all the other members of the staff. Now, he could easily produce a much shorter syllabus, but he goes overboard in order to provide the students with total information on every subject in the Color Lab curriculum. Another example of Ken's unselfish contribution. At every school he runs, no one under the age of 20 has to pay. They get in free. And he gets a fair number of people under 20 at his school in New England as well as other parts of the country. I thought I'd do the math on this. I mean, let's assume he has 10 people under 20 over the course of the year at his schools, and that's easy, probably more, but let's just say 10 throughout the country. Let's say a typical tuition is $300. 10 times 300 is $3,000 times 20 years is $60,000 that Ken Ritucci has turned down in order to let people under 20 attend his school free. Another example. At many schools, the staff gets paid based on the number of students in attendance. If the attendance is low, well, then the staff gets less money. Not at Ken's schools. He makes sure that all members of his staff always receive a nice fee regardless of the attendance. At various times, he has sacrificed himself and either broken even or lost money on his schools in order to be sure that his staff received a reasonable fee. Something else Ken does. At his primary school in New England every fall, he gets a lot of repeat people coming there. I mean, people just love to go to the school, so they keep coming back and coming back. So if someone has been there for 5 years, he gives them an engraved plaque for having been there for 5 years. He also gives, if someone has been there for 10 years, he gives them an engraved crystal award. An engraved crystal award to 10-year attendees. He also gives an engraved crystal microphone gift to every staff member he has. He also gives an engraved crystal award to a staff member or local dance couple for lifetime achievement. Do you realize the cost to all these crystal awards? It boggles the mind. All these plaques and engraved crystal awards, he doesn't have to give these out. He does so because he considers it the right thing to do. We can all learn from Ken as we go through life. Ask yourself the question, anytime you have to make a decision, what is the right thing to do? What is the right thing to do? And if you ask that question very seriously, you will be given the answer. Ken always conducts himself in a totally professional manner, and he's always promoting Color Lab. He often, when he goes overseas, oftentimes organizations over there will ask him to conduct a seminar about Color Lab. And he shows how the goals of Color Lab are in alignment with the goals of the overseas organization. And he's always promoting people to attend and become members of Color Lab. And I'll just mention as an aside, Ken has a master's degree and is currently teaching history and theology at a high school in his area. So let's summarize. From his collar schools, to his clinics and seminars, to his chairmanship of various collar organizations, to his heavy involvement with Color Lab, to his traveling calling throughout the United States and Europe, Ken has been exercising influence for decades. So you would think that after doing all this for this long, Ken would be backing off and slowing down. Not so. He has the exact same amount of calling and traveling and numbers of caller schools now as he had 20 years ago. So he's not slowing down at all. He has been calling for 50 years, yet he is still heavily involved in service and in practicing an attitude of putting others first. Many years ago, someone said, "We grow to heaven leaning on the arm of someone we have helped." We grow to heaven leaning on the arm of someone we have helped. Ken has many arms, hundreds of arms, thousands of arms, and a number of those arms are in this room tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to present to you Milestone Award winner Ken Ritucci.
Well, I'm truly honored. I'm actually holding myself together better than I thought. I thought by now the box of tissues that was just handed to me by Shelley that I'd use them all up. I haven't. Education's been very important to me. I think we can all agree here at our 50th, I hear it in the hallways, hear it in the rooms. Of course, we always need more dancers, but we do need more callers. I'm trying to do my best. Thank my beloved Sue for her support, of course. And I look around the room and I see students from schools all over the country, of course, my big school in New England. And I also see students that I taught overseas, which is very touching. I want to thank Caller Lab, the executive committee, having been in that position to have to vote on these awards, so I know what they had to go through. I want to thank everyone here for your support and kindness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Ken. Ed brought his own script. Catching up. That brings us to my favorite part of the evening. After getting to see Ken be recognized so deservedly. And that is, once I make my next introduction, I'm finished. I thank you for your patience with me this evening. I hope I didn't mispronounce anyone's name. It's been my pleasure to be here this evening and to have been honored to get to do it on our 50th anniversary. Just meant so much, even above and beyond what it would have meant anyway. And I thank you for your patience with me tonight. And now, I'd like to introduce one more time. As we come to this final presentation, I have the honor of reintroducing someone you've seen in action all week long, working hard, presenting, leading, doing everything possible to make this convention a success. We wouldn't let this night pass without once again recognizing his tireless efforts and the steady leadership he has brought to this 50th Color Lab convention. Please join me in welcoming our chair, Ted Lizotte.
That wasn't in the script. All right, oh, hold on. That's okay. Here you go. Ted, it's time to give away a free convention registration to the 51st. How come there's always a commercial before I start something? All right, we're thrilled to already have blank attendees pre-registered. Huh?
98.
It says blank. We have 98 attendees pre-registered, and there's still time for you to join in the fun. Whether you're registering online or, let me switch again. Whether you're registering online or stopping by the home office in person, make sure to have your plans to join us. Okay, we're drawing one lucky name to win a free convention registration because what's better than being part of the best event of the year? Doing it for free. You're lucky we don't read all the other notes that are under these things. Okay. I won't make the tape joke. Okay, here we go. Trevor Day.
Wow.
For those of you not familiar, Trevor is from England. And I probably wasn't thinking about going to that one. All right, well, welcome. Congratulations, Trevor. Way to go. Before I start this, I would just like to say that first time I was asked to teach or anything was with Ken. First time I needed a kick in the butt to get my accreditation, it was Ken. And he's had me do a lot, so that was wonderful and well done, Mr. Foote. Without a joke. Okay, here we go. Good evening, everyone. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Okay, come on, this is the second time. The congregational response is, and also with you. All right, let's try it again. Good evening, everyone. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Okay, you got one more shot at this in Reno. Let's get it right. Well, here I am to address everyone at this Milestone 50th Color Lab convention, and me with only a 49-page speech. Guess I'll soldier on anyway. Please realize that I take great pride in standing in front of you tonight for this momentous occasion, and I'm humbled by the opportunity to speak to you this evening. Ever since it was first pointed out to me that I would be officiating what would be our 50th celebration, I've been nervous. For those not in the know, I never actually sought out this position. A friend nominated me for vice chair. Yeah, you, Vernon. And not really grasping the entirety of the situation, I accepted. Sounds like a lot of club leaders you may know, right?
Yeah.
But from the moment I was elected, I've tried to become a student of this organization, digging into a lot of what's it's been through to get to this moment in time. I've read a lot, watched a lot of video, talked to a bunch of people, and made Teresa do her best Indiana Jones impersonation to dig up all kinds of facts for me. It's fascinating stuff, really, and I'm better for the knowledge. So the big question I kept asking myself is, what to talk about tonight? This is a landmark anniversary celebration, and it calls for a thought-provoking speech. I mean, no pressure, right? Well, I thought about spending some time discussing some of what I might think we'll hear tomorrow at the annual membership meeting. Like concerns about call families, though they have been in existence both pre and post call allowed with no fundamental push to change it until now. Concerns about which particular calls are on the list, because many seem to have the list that everyone should be using. That would solve everything. And for some reason have kept it a secret until now. Concerns that in some way this organization is supposed to survey every caller, member or non-member, and dancer of this activity on the planet to determine the course of action. Concerns that we should stay the course and analyze and evaluate how things are going, ignoring the past 50 years to this point. Or my concern that people keep making the focus of the proposal about the list instead of about our new callers. If we don't build a new unified base of dancers, all new callers will continue to have to learn and teach the current 70-call mainstream program, or in some cases, the 95-call plus program, just to get your foot in the door. Or somehow stand up here and have a rebuttal for every person that has time to continue to yell into the social media void over and over and over again, in an attempt to get some kind of dopamine validation from both Call 11 and non-Call 11 members alike. But I decided I wasn't going to do that. Instead, I thought I'd start with a cute little piece of information, as that's a lot more calming and fun. So let's try this. Did you know that there is an unwritten rule for adjectives in the English language? Some of you may have seen this. It's never really taught. It's just something we all seem to understand. No one really knows why, but if adjectives aren't put together in a certain order, things sound funny. That order, in case you're curious, is opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, and noun. So for example, you could have a lovely little old rectangular green French silver carving knife. But if you mess with that order, you sound a little off. Similarly, size comes before color. For example, we wouldn't say these tables have black, large tablecloths. You'd say they are covered with large, black tablecloths. Sounds better. I don't know why, just does. My point being that sometimes things have to be in a certain order. Consciously or unconsciously, it's just the way it is. Take square dancing. No kidding, right? We can get back to that. Not the act of calling, which proves this out easily, but the activity as a whole. At some point, the activity had to become big enough that the need for something different had to occur. In this case, the standardization of the calls, definitions, and so forth. If square dancing was only happening in small pockets, nobody would care. It had to grow big enough to warrant a change. This happens around us all the time. Obviously, sports come to mind. In my lifetime, snowboarding started small. Now it's an Olympic sport. Pickleball is one of the most recent sports I can think of. And don't forget other recreational things. Video games like Fortnite and others have world competitions. For those of you with gray hair, that's a shoot. When something gets large enough, it warrants structure. And to do that, there has to be people in place to get that done. Because just knowing it needs to change is great. But nothing happens without those individuals with the desire and the will to see it through. And then once a vision is in place, that structure needs people to support it and maintain it, or it falls apart. The rules need to be reviewed and updated with the times. For example, contrast the rules and standards of American baseball from today to 1975. I'm sure a lot is the same, but I'm also sure that there are substantial differences. Times change, and to stay relevant, the structure needs to change as well. For changes of this magnitude, there is usually a governing body of some sort in place. However, square dancing, though similar in some regards, is oh so wonderfully different. Like some of my other examples, when square dancing's popularity exploded across the country, a need for standardization arose. We all know that. That led to discussions as how to accomplish that, which grew into a vision. Then people began to work together to implement that, sitting together celebrating all the work that brought us to this place in time. But then things change a little bit. In the test, every time we take the stage, I think that's enough, don't you? Kala Lab began with a group of entrepreneurs that felt that together they could be greater than the sum of their parts. That synergy could happen if we somehow all found common ground. And together they created something that the entire activity around the planet participates in voluntarily. It's mind-blowing if you really step back and think about it. If you, as an individual, choose to go and do your own thing, no one is going to come knocking at your door and take away your microphone. Not saying they shouldn't, just saying they won't. But all of us are here because we too subscribe to that original ideal. The fact that we can teach someone to dance and then have them travel halfway around the world and utilize those skills for enjoyment is heartwarming. The byproduct of our teaching people to dance is that we help them to build long-lasting, and in some cases, lifelong friendships. If that doesn't instill a sense of pride in you, I'm not sure what would. Why am I reminding you of all this incredible benefit that I think sometimes we take for granted? Anybody want to guess? Well, tomorrow, we will not all see eye to eye. We will not all agree on the direction that is selected. Make no mistake, I am just as concerned if this resolution passes as if it fails. Moving forward together will be challenging and different, but staying put hasn't done us any favors for 40 years. Whatever the outcome, I hope you keep in mind everything we've achieved together. This whole thing works because we all believe in our hearts that working together enriches all of our lives for the better. I know I will continue to embrace the idea and the vision that makes our activity what I've come to love, and I hope you do as well. Like last time, let me leave you with one thing. That. Stay with me. Oscar, Mayo, Flippo, Story, Doherty, Mariner, Miller, Sheffy, and if you'll allow me one, Cody. There is an idea that a person passes twice. Once when their physical body is gone, and again when they are no longer remembered or spoken of. I've just given you a few of my memories, and I've given them a little extension, if you will. And I'd like to grant a few more. If you would be so kind as to close your eyes, bow your heads, and for the next 10 seconds, think and maybe speak a few names we wish could be in the room with us tonight, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Feels a little more crowded in here, doesn't it? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years of anything needs to be celebrated. We need to remember that those that have come before us and helped us get here. We need to take time to acknowledge what we've achieved, why it's important to maintain, And we need to help prepare those to carry the torch after us for when the burden becomes too much to carry on. Take a good look around the room. Friends are the family you choose. Thank you for choosing to join us here to celebrate this family. And here's to another 50 years.
Well then, all right, before I give you a few general reminders, I want to just pause and say how truly proud I am of each and every one of you, this organization, to our leadership that's elected by this body, the investment of our founding fathers, and this continues because of you. Yes? So thank you for your time, your passion, and your support of this community. In just a few moments, we will stay in this room for our live auction benefiting the Collar Lab Foundation for the preservation and promotion of square dancing. So I'll have our team start getting that set up, and Justin will be running that along with our auctioneer. So they'll start setting up. And immediately following that auction, there's going to be a variety dance in the Palmetto Room with our MC, Mr. Bob Briggs. That will be a great fun. And following the live auction as well, as we make your way to the Palmetto Room, Ray Owens will be available outside of that gold backdrop if anyone would like a photo with a group or with your partner or with friends that are here with you. So please take advantage of that opportunity, and Ray will, I'm sure, be taking great photos of all of you. All right, tomorrow is the 50th Annual Collar Lab Convention Membership Business Meeting. Here's what you can expect. We'll call the meeting to order, confirm a quorum, provide membership and financial updates. We'll recognize our retiring board members. We'll welcome newly elected board members. The big item on the agenda is, of course, the vote on one resolution that's been received to update our program policy statement. We'll also recognize VIP guests and give Board of Governors candidates a chance to say a few words. It's going to be a full but exciting morning as we plan for the next 50 years. Plan to join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. in this same room for our annual membership meeting. At this point in time, I'm going to introduce the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee to kick off our live fundraising auction tonight, the 50th Convention Auction. Ways and Means Chairman, Mr. Justin Russell.